How would you like to market your small business and discover some strategies to do this effectively? Discover the shocking way that Jonathan Breeden is doing this in multiple ways and how he's managed to attract hundreds of leads. So tell us, Jonathan, how can entrepreneurs market their small business?
Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu. Mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services.
I think they need to come up with a strategy and a plan, right? Marketing always starts with what problem are you trying to solve that somebody in the world has that will pay you money to help solve it, right? So when you think about marketing, you have to start thinking about what service are you selling? What service are you providing to the public? What problem are you solving? And then once you do that, then you have to decide, okay, all right, where is the person that is having the problem located, right? So you have to have this sort of message. What message do I want to get out about the product I think? What market do I want to use? Then you have to decide where those people are. Do you want to use radio or TV or email or web or whatever? And you've got to make sure that the message and the market match. Right. And I think that's where a lot of people make a mistake is they don't know what message they want to give. They don't know what market they want to use, and they don't have them aligned. And so people end up struggling. So you do have to ask yourself, what problem am I solving? Who are my ideal customers? Where are my ideal customers located? And how can I tell them how I can help them?
Thank you. So tell us some of your most effective advertising campaigns and also other marketing ways that you've managed to use in order to attract hundreds of clients a month.
I think we've the first thing we did was we built a really, really good website. And so our website got all the SEO bells and whistles. It has all the right tags. It loads very fast. It looks good on mobile. A lot of people's websites look good on desktop, but more than half the searchers are on mobile now. What does your website look on mobile? How fast does it load? How interactive is that website? Is it got all the right geotags and stuff like that? And so the first thing we did when we started to scale this business, and I am a divorce lawyer in the Raleigh, North Carolina suburbs in the United States, we built with a company named Postali out of Columbus, Ohio. We built one of the best websites in the state for family law. Then that started creating a lot of leads for us as well. Once we figured out what we were doing we then were able to expand that, and we started to use local service ads, LSAs, Google LSAs. That is a version of Google pay-per-click that is out there that you can get. It's not exactly pay-per-click, but it is where you can advertise. And as people go to search for divorce lawyer in Raleigh, North Carolina, if you have a local service ad, it will actually put my website, breedenfirm.com, into the search bar, along with any 5-star reviews I have and stuff like that, which cuts down on the competitions. And then if somebody calls you, you pay anywhere from $50 to $90 a phone call in our market. I know in some personal injury markets in some of the bigger cities in the United States, those calls can be as much as $150 a call. But that's been really important as well. And then we've recently, as we've sort of maxed out how many calls we believe we can get through the local service ads, we've moved into traditional pay-per-click campaigns, and we've just started doing that here in the last 90 to 120 days. And that's, everybody knows about pay-per-click. They're one of the top 3 at the top of the page on Google. When you search, somebody clicks on it, and you pay anywhere from $50 to $150 a click for them to come through. And if they call, you pay some money for that too. But the key thing about all of that is you have to be able to track it, right? And if you're not tracking it through a CRM and you're not able to know whether you're making any money from these things. You can spend a lot of money in a very short period of time and not make any money. So it's very important that you have a client relationship manager, that you have some sort of CRM that is tracking these leads to where you can see where the leads come from and how they are paying out for you to know whether you're making any money or not. And you'll need all of these individual campaigns. You're going to need different phone numbers. You can get all the phone numbers you want in the world from CallRail, and you could just pay for those and they'll give you tracking numbers, and then you could link those tracking numbers into your client relationship management system, whichever one you choose to use, and then you can know where the calls are coming from and whether you're actually making any money on these leads.
Thank you. Tell us, what's the difference between the local service ads and the pay-per-click?
Yeah, they're two different products, and I'm not going to say I'm an expert at this, but they are two different products that act similarly to each other, but they are separate products that Google sells. On the local service ads, oftentimes they are just given your name and they're taken to your website in a search. Whenever they're searching it, and it has to be geographically based, close to the person that is searching. You have to have it attached to a physical office location that has to be verified and on the Google Maps, is my understanding, which is one of the reasons I have 4 separate locations in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, so that I can be on 4 separate maps and I can run separate local service ads campaigns surrounding each of those individual physical offices that I have. And so I think that that's important. And with local service ads, as a general rule, you're not driving people to a landing page per se. You're driving them to call, or you're driving them to your actual website, my website, breedenfirm.com, where pay-per-click, those people, when you run the search, they're usually the top 3 lines at the top of the Google thing under ads. And now Google, of course, is pushing the maps. They're pushing the maps down, and they're putting more of this paid stuff up top. And the organic is getting below the fold a lot of times now, which is unfortunate. But Google's a business. They got stockholders. They're trying to make money. But pay-per-click are the ones that are right up there at the top. They're the first 3 or 4 every time on the page. And, you'll be there with several other people who are also running pay-per-click ads for those same search terms that you're running for. And then the people will often click on that. They will go to a landing page, and that landing page can convert them to call a phone number, which you have tracked, or maybe fill out a form that you can reach out to them there, whether it be any kind of form where you get their information, stuff like that. And so they run a little bit differently. You are sort of paying cost per contact in both of them, but they're set up a little differently. I'm not an expert on it, but they are 2 separate programs that Google's running now. And I would advise everybody to do both if they can.
Thank you. Did you say that it's $100 to $150 per lead?
It can be, depending on what you're bidding on and whether you're in the cities in the United States or you're in the more rural areas. But yes, it can be. You get into personal injury in Chicago and New York and some of the bigger LA and some of the bigger markets in the United States. I mean, it could be $200, $250 easily for a call or a lead, but you got to think about what that's worth. I mean, some of these injury cases are worth $1 million. I don't do injury work. But it is a numbers game, right? And the other thing is you have to be able to, and look, I'm going to tell you, Lily, 95% of the leads you're going to get from this are not good leads, right? They are people who either can't afford you, they're not ready to act, they're looking for free, that kind of stuff. So, it really, and that's what people listen understand is it's a numbers game, right? Yes, we may have to answer 100 calls to get 5 paying clients, but we can do that because that's how you find the 5 paying clients.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay. And do you, what other ways have you used to attract?
I mean, we also, we try to get referrals. Referrals are the best way to get clients. Unfortunately for me and my firm, we've not done as good with referrals as we would have liked. We're in a highly transient area in the suburbs of Raleigh with lots of people moving in, lots of people moving out. This is the fastest growing metro in the United States, Raleigh-Durham Triangle. We have lots of major companies here. So there's people constantly moving in, moving out. Lenovo, IBM, Red Hat, Epic Games. Everybody loves to play Fortnite and Rocket Clicks, all that. We have a lot of great industries here, great universities, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Duke University, NC State. So people are always coming into this area. And so the area is growing very fast. And so we would like to get more referrals, but that is one way to do it. And, providing a good service to people asking for referrals, I think is important. I also believe that it's important to be, in the community and not just of the community. So, I've been on the Little League board I was on the Little League board for 9 years. I was in Civitan for 15 years. I've worked with Special Olympics. I've been involved with the Chambers of Commerce over the years, that kind of stuff where you just go out, meet people, you're helping your community grow. You're doing community service, you're meeting people, you're telling people, say, hey, I'm a divorce attorney. Anybody who has a relationship breaking up, tell them to give me a call, so there's that kind of stuff. Everybody knows somebody going through a divorce. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is job security for us divorce lawyers out there. So, but I mean, so there's that as well. You can also do lead magnets, Lily. I was able to get a book written. I have a business coach and he helped me get a book written, divorce law in North Carolina. No, I didn't sit down and write a 200-page book from scratch, and you shouldn't either. If you're listening to this, find somebody to help you get a book. All these publishers can help you get a book. I'm working on a second book right now where I just take episodes of my podcast and we put it into AI and we're turning that into a book. And so I'll have a second book here in the next 90 days and I'm not going to really written anything. I'm just taking podcasts that I've already recorded of me talking about family law in North Carolina. My podcast is called Best of Johnston County. It's a community podcast. I largely interview community members like the mayors and the county commissioners and small business owners like Dennis. But every fourth or fifth episode, we talk about family law in North Carolina. I'm taking those episodes and I'm turning them into a book. So there's so many different things you can do. And then you can either sell the book, and all books have to be sold on Amazon to be legitimate books. So you can buy my book on Amazon, and I think it's $14.95. And even though I give it away on my website and I mail it to anybody who comes to my office or anybody that comes and asks for it, and I go and give speeches and I give it away, people still buy it every year. And every year, Amazon sends me money every month from somebody actually buying my book, which I think is absolutely fascinating. I don't make very much, but that's extra revenue if somebody actually buys it. But, it's another way to show your expertise, to answer people's questions, right? Because, the buying cycle, the other thing that's important is you have to think about how long the buying cycle for whatever your business is, Lily. Like the buying cycle for a criminal defense attorney is about 72 hours. I'm in jail. I need to get out. My family's on the phone trying to get me out of this jail. For family law, it can be 6 to 12 months as people think and contemplate the end of their marriage and the end of their relationship for long periods of time before they actually do anything. And so those people need to be, if you can get their information, they need to be nurtured. So if they download my book, I've got their email address, I've got their phone number, I can call them. I can put them in an email drip campaign where I send them emails about alimony and child support and custody and stuff like that, where they became more and more familiar with my brand and they begin to more and more familiar that I actually know what I'm talking about in this crowded market of divorce lawyers, so that when they are ready to buy, I'm the first name that comes to the top of their mind. So one of the things you have to ask yourself in marketing is, what is the buying cycle of my clientele? The buying cycle for divorce lawyers is a very long period of time because people think about it for a very long time before they actually go through a divorce, where in some other businesses, it's a much shorter period.
Thank you. How do you leverage your clients' problems in order to advertise? So what I mean is, for example, let's say if I was a person considering divorce, I don't know, what would I think about? Would it be that divorce quickly, or would it be what kind of things do people type that you're able to type in Google or think about that you're able to leverage in your advertising, and how do you actually do it? What kind of keywords do you leverage in your advertising, whether it's in the newspaper or in your like Google advertising, or do you do Facebook as well? So if you can tell us like that.
We have done some Facebook advertising, we've done different things with Facebook. We've done some heaven and hell videos where we're asking them questions about, are they in an abusive relationship? Do they feel trapped? Are they being cut off from their family members? We know what that feels like. We can help you get out of that, right? You can sort of speak to the hell they're living in some of your Facebook videos. You can also, in some of your marketing, you can speak to the heaven too. And the heaven is, your kids, a dog, a white picket fence, and that bad husband not there anymore. That's the heaven, right? Like, I'm out of this abusive relationship. I'm away from this guy who I cannot stand. And I've got a new life here, and probably with a new man, more than likely. Women, I think, start about 70% of all divorces. So a lot of the marketing we do, we're talking to women sometimes too, because we know they're the ones starting a lot of these divorces. But I mean, most people, men in divorces are worried about their finances. Okay. Are they going to be able to afford to pay whatever they have to pay, whether it be child support, alimony, and whatever distribution of their business or property, and have enough money to live, right? That's the man's number one concern. A woman's number one concern is her access to her children. And so depending on if you're a man or a woman, it depends. And I've watched women give up large sums of money to have more custodial time with their children. And so, and everybody looks at it differently, right? A man is primarily worried about the finances, and women are primarily worried about their children. We have a lot of YouTube videos that we've made where I just answer questions that we get every week. Like, we just sit down and we just make a bunch of videos where I'm just answering questions that we get, so that we have the information out there on our YouTube channel, Breeden Law Office, and where we're just answering common questions as well. And that also helps us with helps us with Google and stuff like that. What people don't understand is YouTube is the second most searched engine in the world behind Google. Google owns YouTube. So if you're doing well on YouTube, you're going to do better on Google. It's all about, the trustworthiness that Google gives to your name, to your brand, to your website, to your videos, and all that stuff. And so I do think that people miss out. Video converts at 25 to 35% higher percentage than stagnant ads. So I do think a lot of people forget, and YouTube, the barrier to entry is almost done. I mean, these iPhones are as good a cameras as you'll get nowadays. You don't have to have special lighting or any of that. Just set up and start talking. Talk about the question you got that day. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you'll be consistent about it, and you can actually SEO the YouTube videos. I have a company out of San Francisco. I think they're called Optimize now, where they will actually go in and they'll put all the tags on my YouTube videos, so I get 100% score to make them more searchable in YouTube. You could do that yourself. It's not hard. I don't have time to learn, but there's stuff like that. I do think that is a free thing that you can do that is a huge benefit that so many businesses don't take advantage of. And we could probably do a better job, but we're at least doing something on YouTube where almost nobody else is doing anything.
Thank you. Tell us some of the psychological, emotional triggers that you leverage in your ads that help you to convert. What I mean is, do you agitate the pain that they experience? Do you use humor? Do you use something else that kind of triggers an action from the people that you're advertising to?
Our most recent ads right now, our slogan right now is be the hero of your life story. So we have a lot of hero type icons where we have the mom wearing a cape or the dad wearing a cape, like they're Superman. You know what I'm saying? Where they're standing and they're looking over the Grand Canyon. As I flew over it just a couple of days ago, it's absolutely beautiful. The Grand Canyon. If you've not been to the Grand Canyon in Arizona, you should go. But anyway, and even seeing it from a plane is something else. But we have people looking over the expanse of the Grand Canyon, and saying, look, you can be the hero of your life story. That's all of our goals, right? And right now, you don't feel like you're the hero because your marriage is on the rocks and it's not working out, and maybe it's your fault, maybe it's not. In my experience, having done thousands of divorces, is each side has some fault in a marriage that doesn't work out, and no side is 100% to blame, and no side is 100% perfect. And so we're trying to get people to think, okay, yes, I want to be the hero. I want to get through this, and he can help me do that. So that is some of the stuff we're working on right now, is sort of hero graphics, pictures of women and their kids, men and their kids, that kind of stuff, where, because your greatest fear is not being able to be with your kids a lot of times, not having to be able to spend time with them, not being able to parent them. A lot of men think that they're not going to get any time with their kids, and that's not the case. And so, that's what I think should be important to people going through a divorce, and that's what we're trying to talk to them about right now.
Thank you. I'm thinking that for people that are divorcing, one important aspect, maybe one of the most important aspects, is keeping an amicable atmosphere. So much so that after the divorce, there is an element of, you're still friends at the end of the day, and you can still rely on each other as if you were still together, in the sense that you continue to be best friends. And I know that's an ideal situation. Maybe it doesn't happen very often, but I have seen it happen for some families. So I wonder whether you leverage some of the dream that they desire. Because I'm thinking, for example, what does it really mean to be the superhero of your own story from a divorce perspective? Whereas, for example, Amicable, creating an amicable relationship with your now, potentially what do you call it, ex-husband, it kind of means something to me. It's a very, very visual thing that I can imagine. Whereas, what would you say, for example, what does it mean to you to be the superhero of your own story from a divorce perspective?
I mean, I think it means that you have gotten, a lot of the cases we do, there is abuse going on, verbal, mental abuse, some physical abuse as well. And so I think being the hero is you getting you and your children out of a situation that is abusive, that is not positive for you or your children. I tell people all the time, batterers are raised, and victims of batterers are also raised. If you go back and you look in the backgrounds of people that have been physically and mentally abused partners, you will often find that their parents were either abusers or victims of abuse as well. And all they're doing is reliving what they learned as a child. So being the hero allows you to get out of an abusive situation and get yourself to a safe situation where your children have the opportunity to be the best that they can be, if that is the situation. It would be great if everybody could get along and they could be amicable. And I wish that was the case more often than it's not. And unfortunately, Lily, I see a lot of the worst stuff, right? A lot of people never talk to a divorce lawyer. A lot of people just work it out themselves. A lot of people are able to maintain friends, never talk to a lawyer. They figure out the child support by going to an online child support calculator, and they go about their life and never talk to a lawyer. So, I don't know that I get to see a complete cross section of divorces. Usually, if you're calling a divorce lawyer, there's a problem. And the problem ultimately probably goes back to one or both parties has some sort of mental illness or a personality disorder that is causing a lot of extra angst, consternation, and making this separation more difficult than it needs to be. And that's where the lawyers step in, because they have to be able to work through the issues that the parents are having.
Thank you. Do you leverage different types of marketing messages? So, for example, let's say sometimes you mention in the advertising, become the superhero of your own story, or do you mention other types of messages and see how they each compare in A to B testing? Or do you just go with search terms like a family law lawyer or divorce lawyer, whatever else that's related to your field?
Yeah, on Facebook, we tried. Oh my gosh, Lily, I bet you we've tried 20 different ads, different types of messaging, heaven and hell videos, hero icon videos, download the book, self-scheduling. I mean, I have tried just about everything you could possibly imagine to make Facebook work, and I've not had a lot of success so far, but I'm not going to quit. I'm going to be honest. And I do think that Facebook for family lawyers can be a way to gather names and emails so that you can put them in a drip campaign and you can sort of help nurture them along, because people, as a general rule, aren't going to Facebook when they're absolutely ready to buy to find a divorce lawyer. They're going to Google. So I do think it now, but I also think that bankruptcy and immigration and some of that can convert on Facebook like nobody's business. Veterans Affairs, but for family law, I think Facebook is a tough sell, but it can be a way to grow your list. And look, anybody that gets added to your list, that gets put in your tribe, that you can sort of build around and you can communicate with, and send them birthday cards and dancing Charlie Browns and whatever else, I think is important. And so you want to be able to email people on a regular basis as far as that's concerned. The other stuff, the website, we're reworking the website right now. Our website so far has been kind of a general try to catch all the fish in the Google Sea world. And I've always wanted as many leads as I can get. Now we're going to rebuild the website to talk to a higher network individual, to talk to a mid-career professional, which is more of our ideal client than just anybody. And so we're starting to write it that way. We developed new, some people call them archetypes. Some people call them avatars, where we talked about, who these people are, where they shop, whether they shop at Trader Joe's or Harris Teeter's, a good Southeast North Carolina, United States thing, or, Publix, another major chain. Where do they shop? Where do their kids go to school? What activities do they like to do? What podcasts they listen to? And so we're starting to narrow in our communication towards these more specific archetypes and away from just a general, we'll take anybody in the sea kind of approach, which will probably cause our leads to go down. But I do think our conversion rates will start to go up as we talk to people who are more likely to be able to afford the services we're providing, more than just talking to everybody, because we've gotten ourselves to where we're one of the more expensive ones in the area. And because we're a divorce lawyer, and you have to pay us thousands of dollars to get started, not everybody can afford us. We're not like a personal injury lawyer where it doesn't cost anything to get in, and the lawyer gets a cut of your settlement. In divorce law, you actually have to pay the lawyer thousands of dollars to do your divorce. So we need to talk to clients who can afford to do that.
Thank you. Have you tried anything sort of like humorous or like any organic marketing that you've discovered works? Because I'm thinking, for example, if in previous times when I wanted to separate from someone, and I've never been divorced because I'm not married, but I remember that in previous times when I had like a long-term partner and I wanted to leave, it wasn't just like an instant decision. It was like a rumination of maybe a few years of thinking about it and then finally taking a decision based on watching a movie. And I find that sometimes you have it's almost like you have this buildup of, it's coming, but there's a lot of fear around it. And then you just take a decision based on feeling courageous, like you mentioned in terms of becoming a superhero. And I'm wondering whether you've tried like any like dialogue with yourself as a divorce lawyer. So I mean, like, hey, what do you think about this? And you kind of being two characters, because if you were to cover some humorous things that happen that people have questions about, especially like people that are asking you different questions, and typically you answer it in the normal way how you would as a formal lawyer. But when you answer it like this and in a funny way, I do think that could be potentially more effective. Have you tried anything like that in terms of organic marketing that works?
I don't know that I've done any, and I don't know that I've done anything like that where it's comedy stuff. I mean, I'm a great dinner party guest, right? Like, because I've got all kinds of stories of swingers and sister wives and polyamorous relationships and all of that stuff. I mean, I've seen a little bit of everything in my 25 years of doing divorce law. But no, I've not really carried that into the marketing per se. Some of the emails we send, where we're wishing people a Merry Christmas or a Happy Easter, may have Peanuts characters and Easter bunnies and Santa Claus in them and stuff like that. But those are more like holiday greetings and stuff like that. I've not done any kind of, I send funny holiday cards. Usually, Santa Claus is being interrogated on the witness stand, something like that. Or, I do stuff like that, just in general, like on holiday cards and stuff like that, but not in any direct response marketing, not in any kind of direct response marketing. I've not tried to use any humor or anything like that.
Thank you. Tell us what else has worked in terms of marketing your business.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked about the local service ads and pay-per-click, the book has been great as a lead magnet as well. We've talked about being in the community, just meeting people and being on local boards and being involved and stuff like that. The podcast, I think, is helping me with my referrals because, you get to come on my podcast. I don't charge you anything from it. I promote you and your business and tag you and all of that stuff. And then, down the road, you remember that you came on Jonathan Breeden promoted your business on their podcast. And yeah, it's a community podcast and I'm not charging ads or any of that kind of stuff on it. But, you may think, hey, you know what? I met Jonathan. I was on his podcast. He helped me, let me refer somebody to him. So I think that has been good as well. Years ago, we used to be in the yellow pages. Those are long since died off now. So we're not doing that anymore. We're still on some of the directory listings. I have a top spot on Justia, which is a legal directory listing. I also have spots on Avo and FindLaw, which are other lawyer directory listings that are available around the world, I believe. And I don't spend a ton of money on those, but I do think it's important to be on the listing services because they often are on the first page of Google and people often will click on those and they will be in front of a lot of regular organic websites. And so while you are on there with 10 or 15 other people, I still think there is some value in being on there so that your name is being seen. One of the things people need to understand, Lily, is people probably will have 10 to 12 interactions with your name or your brand or your picture before they ever decide to buy. And you also want to have some awareness in your community, even when they don't need a divorce lawyer. And so, there's, because not everybody needs a divorce lawyer. So you definitely want to be involved. My goal is to try to be a celebrity in my community. The Kardashians are famous at being famous, right? They are entertaining. They had their show. Now they've got businesses and stuff. I am trying to be the Kardashians of Johnston County, right? I'm just trying to be local famous. I want to be, my logo's on the football field. My picture's is hanging at the Little League park, right? My logo's on the raffle tickets for the high school, like whatever. Like I just kind of want to be omnipresent now I'm not doing that across all four of my offices. I'm really focusing on my Garner and Smithfield offices as far as that is concerned, because I can't be a local celebrity in, Wake County, which has, 2 million, almost 2 million people in that area, but I can be in my very hyper local community. And I think that there's some value in that too.
Wow, that is so fascinating. And I find that you're actually very funny. And I'm not sure if you're intending to, but you're very funny. And I do really think you could pull off like a funny organic marketing campaign, because I do think it would work a lot. Because you have like this natural charisma and fun. Okay, so tell us where entrepreneurs can find you.
Yeah, well, I am on LinkedIn at Jonathan Breeden. That's Breeden. My website is breedenfirm.com. I can be reached through there. If you have any questions about marketing or divorce law in North Carolina or how I've done it, I've been a tremendous success. And I had 3 employees in June of 2020, and they all quit. I now have 22 employees. So I've had a lot of rapid growth over the last 3 or 4 years. I've learned a lot about building a new culture. We didn't get a chance to talk about that today, but just building a culture. I tell you, if you're a business owner listening to this podcast, and I love to listen to this podcast, focus on your people. I've worked really hard to make a really good culture of a place where people want to work, and putting back into the people that work with me. If you'll do that, be good. But you can reach out to me. I'm on Twitter at Breeden Law NC, LinkedIn at Jonathan Breeden. I'm also on Facebook, Breeden Law Office, as well. But I share a lot of stuff about the stuff I've learned on LinkedIn in particular. I'm told I'm on TikTok, even though I'm not on TikTok, but I'm told about Breeden Law Office has a TikTok page, and Breeden Law Office is often also on Instagram. Once again, I'm not on Instagram, but my office is, and I have people that do that for me, and they share stuff that I say and write, and sometimes I do a dance, I'm told, on TikTok. I just do what they tell me to do. So I have a social media coordinator that runs all that for me. But I'd be glad to answer any questions people have about marketing or business or building a better culture for their employees. It's been a ton of fun, and if I can do it from a small town in North Carolina, anybody can build a successful business.
Thank you so much. And I actually think that because you have the, a very fun side, I believe that you can market your business as well by leveraging all the holidays. For example, Valentine's Day is coming up, and instead of sending like a Valentine's Day card, like a usual one, you would send, there's no better time than Valentine's Day to find a new boyfriend or a new husband, right? Get divorced.
I tell you, January is Christmas time for divorce lawyers, because it is always one of our very busiest months. Because once you get through the holidays and you've had to spend time with that spouse that you don't like, and then you're going to get a new year, new man, new you, new world out there. And so January is always a great time for divorce lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to follow up with, that you can do like a card, like a new year, new you, new husband card.
That's right. New year, that's right. New man, new husband. And there's no doubt. And there's a lot of people that get to the new year and they're like, it is time to move on, and that's, that's okay too, because most of the time people are moving on to a better situation. I used to think divorce was a really bad thing, but having done thousands of them now, I do realize that it is a healthy and good thing for a lot of people to get out of really bad situations. And that's what we try to help people do.
Thank you.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential, so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.